Michael Traikos, man. Always coming in here with articles that are stirring up the hockey world. This one was published on July 14th, 2022, and the title of the article kind of goes over all you need to know. Here's what Michael Traikos wrote about on the Toronto Sun. Could Auston Matthews pull a quote-unquote Gaudreau and walk away from the Maple Leafs in a couple of years? Now, this article got the entire hockey world talking. Everybody was talking about, okay, Traikos, man, what are you doing? Why are you writing about this? Yada, yada, yada. But you know what? It is in the Toronto Sun, and this article was published in various local news outlets, so I was like, yeah, okay, that's a video topic. Let's go over this piece, go over what it is Traikos is writing about here, and talk about the possibility of Auston Matthews going to any team in California or even Arizona, pretty much just a team that is not Toronto. So, if we go over to Auston Matthews and his entire profile right here, let's take a look at the status quo, the contract, the numbers, and all that. Auston Matthews is 24 years old, 6'3", 205, signed till the end of 2024, so the contract expires in 2 years. He's making $11.64 million a season. He does not have any trade protection until his 2023-2024 year, where he'll have a no-move clause. Matthews last season had 106 points in 73 games played, and 60 goals on the year as well. He scored 50 goals in the span of his own personal 50 games, and he's been one of the most incredible goal scorers ever since stepping into the NHL in 2016-17, with multiple 40-goal seasons. Every single season he's played, he's had over 30 goals, and of course the 60-goal campaign this year caps it all off. But with Auston Matthews being the best Toronto Maple Leafs goal scorer ever, and arguably the best pure Leaf, just period there is somewhat of a sentiment that says, hey, if this guy decides to go to Johnny Gaudreau route, that would be absolutely catastrophic for the Maple Leafs. Michael Traikos writes, in the aftermath of Johnny Gaudreau leaving Calgary for less money to be sorta, closer to home in nearby Columbus, all eyes will now turn to restricted free agent Mateychuk and what this means for his future with the Flames. It talks about Matthew and the situation, then it highlights a few other notable names in the NHL, like Claude Giroux, for example, going over to Ottawa. It talks about how when John Tavares was about the same age as Johnny Gaudreau, he went home, leaving the New York Islanders to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then it brings up the idea that for the Maple Leafs, it's yet a reminder of the doomsday scenario that could be awaiting them in 2024. That's when Auston Matthews becomes a UFA. And if you don't think the Arizona native would ever leave Toronto, much less leave a team as good as the Maple Leafs for a chance to play for his hometown Coyotes, where he would go from being a national star to a closely guarded secret, keep in mind, there are plenty of other NHL cities that are close to the desert. After all, Gaudreau picked a city that is 2 states over and an 8-hour drive from his hometown of Salem, New Jersey, depending on the traffic that's even further than LA is from Matthews' summer home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay, now before we proceed further, we did highlight this in the previous Gaudreau video, that flights from Columbus over to Salem, New Jersey, Philadelphia, that area, it's a lot quicker, and it's probably a lot more straightforward than going over from Calgary, plus the fact that if he's in Columbus and he's playing Eastern Conference games, he's going to be in New York, New Jersey, the Islanders' territory, Flyers town, all the way a ton. So he's going to be closer to home by being in Columbus. If it's not LA, there's always Anaheim, or San Jose, or even Vegas. And, oh man, okay, Traikos, man. Michael Traikos writing this article really wanted to start a storm, didn't he? And I guess that's kind of what he did. He then goes over all the hypothetical situations, and yeah, in 2024, could the Coyotes have Connor Bedard, and they would actually have a better team that would make it more enticing for a player like Auston to go to. In Anaheim, you have Zegras and Terry and Drysdale and McTavish, and they're going to be good too. And then in San Jose, maybe Matthews could get convinced by Marleau and Thornton to head over there. And then the conversation about LA is revisited, saying, hey, Anze Kopitar's $10 million salary will be off the books in 2024, and if you have Brandt Clark and Quinton Byfield and Turcotte, they could actually do pretty well, making it so that leaving Marner and Nylander won't be that bad. And now you think about it, and it's like, okay, look, this is just like franchise mode. hypothetical trade, be a GM mode, possibilities conversation going over here. It's all hypothetical, and it's just Treyko saying, hey, what if this happened? Let's make an article about what if. And I get it. I mean, it got clicks. I read the article, and I'm making a video about it now. And if you clicked on this video, then you got clicks for me too. So there you go. That's the media cycle going to work here. We just got to make content that gets people talking. But at the end of the day, Auston Matthews to any of these teams is mostly just speculation, and I don't want to use the word fear-mongering, but it's kind of that. I mean, look, Gaudreau leaving Calgary was something that I think a lot of people were not really expecting. And seeing him go to Columbus of all places was even more shocking than the initial news of him leaving in the first place. Is it possible, in any realm of possibility, that Matthews does up and away leave Toronto? I'd say it's possible. Nothing is impossible, for crying out loud, but trying to speculate about the teams, I mean, this early on as well, I think there are a lot better conversations to be having. It's just, I don't really know if this is really one that has all too much meat to the bone. And of course, this is all discounting the idea of salary cap and what these teams are going to look like in 2 years, the amount of players are going to have to re-sign, who's coming off of the books and everything. So it's tough to project this 2 years into the future, but for the sake of making things fun, let's talk about these teams, shall we? Firstly, Vegas. Screw off. You're not getting Matthews. You get everybody that is super expensive under the sun. It happened with Pietrangelo, happened with Pacioretty, happened with Stone, happened with Eichel, and then you have to trade all these guys away because you get too many, and you don't treat your players right. That's not what's going to happen here. Matthews and Eichel are not going to play in the same team. End of story. Goodbye. Good night. Arizona. This one kind of makes a little bit more sense because, of course, the hometown factor. You talk about who they're going to have in their lineup in 2024, 2025. I mean, look, if Bedard is in Arizona alongside of Logan Cooley, Victor Soderstrom on the back end, I think you have yourselves a pretty good team. Plus the fact that Arizona has so many draft picks every year and they get so many prospects, I think they're going to have a pretty good pitch when it comes to saying, hey, Matthews, you want to help build hockey here? You want to inspire the next kid who is in the stands watching the Ovechkin sliding on his back goal and be the guy who helps ignite that here? Come back home, play for us, and you can do that because you'll be a hometown hero here in Arizona. That makes sense to me. Of course, salary cap has to work, but I mean, as we said, it's Arizona, so they probably have a lot of players that they're going to have off the books anyway because they keep on taking on all these bad contracts just to get more extra picks. And then you have the other teams in LA, San Jose, and Anaheim as well that, I mean, look, Matthews with Zegras would be cool. Matthews with Quinton Byfield would be cool. Matthews with whoever the heck the Sharks have coming up next, Thomas Bordeleau, I guess you could say is the next best thing, would be cool as well. But my gosh, please keep Auston Matthews out of the Pacific Division. I do not want to see that happen. If he goes to any team, please make it Arizona because that's a central team. So for me, as a Vancouver Canucks fan, I personally do not want to see Auston Matthews suiting up against the Vancouver Canucks more times than he has as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So please and thank you, get him to Arizona and not any other team. But of course, this is all hypothetical, and this is all based off of the idea that he will not re-sign in Toronto. We'll see if Kyle Dubas has a plan in 2 years to keep Matthews around. Heck, we'll see if Kyle Dubas is even in Toronto in 2 years, because, look, if that guy makes a first-round exit once again, who really knows how much time he has left at the table there. But talk to the comments, let your thoughts about Auston Matthews and this Michael Treyko article. The article will be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and read it, give it some ad views, Toronto Sun, etc., etc. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 99, and bye.